Ashley here, and today I'm going to talk about some tips for being a digital nomad and where to stay between hostels, hotels, Airbnbs, right? There's a ton of options in every city, and how do we decide what we want to do? So there's really pros and cons to each of them. So let's look at hostels first. So hostels are a ton of fun, right? It's awesome to stay at hostels when you want to meet people and really have a great time, especially if you're traveling alone and you don't know anyone and you don't know what to do in a city. So it's great to join a hostel. You'll meet a lot of people there and they organize a lot of tours that you can go with. So that's a really great option. However, if you're trying to work, it can be really hard to do that at a hostel because most of the time people aren't there to work. A lot of people are traveling, they want to meet people and have fun. When I traveled a few years ago, I backpacked South America for 7 months and I wasn't working then, I was just traveling, and then I loved to stay at hostels because it was awesome. I was by myself, it was great to meet people and really get immersed into that environment. But with working, it can be a bit hard. People are loud, they're coming in at all hours of the night, so it can be hard to get the sleep that you want to at that time. Or the work done that you need to because people are being loud. We have looked into private rooms at hostels so that we could work and still meet people and have that environment, but it's pretty expensive most of the time to get a private room. If you want, if you do a regular bed, then it definitely is a cheaper option. But for a private room, it actually kind of ends up being the same as an Airbnb. So Airbnbs are really where we've been staying a lot as we've been working, and we really love them. It's such a great atmosphere because you get a whole place to yourself, and you get the entire apartment with an Airbnb, so you can have your workspace, you can have your living area, and it's all separate, and you can really set up your workspace how you want. So that's personally our favorite area to stay because the Wi-Fi typically works really well. If it doesn't, you can easily contact the host and they can work on it with you, and you can just kind of sprawl your stuff all over. And if you need to film videos or you have a bunch of stuff you need in your workspace, then it's really all yours that you can put there. The next one is hotels. Hotels are a great option too. If you're not really an Airbnb person and you want an area that's cleaned up for you after every day, then hotels are great. We personally don't really love hotels because of a few reasons. We love hotels, but if we're trying to work, we really like having that space and being able to have a desk, which we can get in an Airbnb, or a kitchen table, right? So we can put our laptops, which we don't really get at a hotel. And then also with hotels, what we've noticed is that the Wi-Fi can be really iffy. You never exactly know if you're gonna get it. Sometimes we've had the Wi-Fi work on our computers, but they haven't, on our phones, but it hasn't actually logged onto our computer. And so that's been kind of frustrating if there was a lot that we wanted to get done that night and we couldn't do it because the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Or sometimes, the hotel will have a free Wi-Fi for the whole hotel and it can be a poor connection because of that, depending on where you're at. So we've run into a few issues there, and hostels can be the same. So Airbnbs, we've personally found to be the most reliable when traveling and working, especially if you're working with someone else or you meet some people, that are also working that you start traveling with. If you can all go into an Airbnb together, then that's a really great way to do it as well. So really the takeaway here is figure out what works best for you. If you'd rather stay in hostels and really get that fun environment while trying to work on the side, or Airbnb so you can really focus on your work, right? The downside is you won't really meet as many people that way, but you can definitely get your work done and have your space. Or in hotels, which have benefits too. You get the concierge, right? You maybe free breakfast, things that you can ask the hotel stuff to do for the day. So really figure out what works best for you. We personally love working in Airbnbs and see a lot of benefits to that, but really think about that as you plan your next trip and wherever it is that you are around the world.